Zlurpcast!
Fight for freedom. Wherever there's trouble, who's there? Anyone?
G.I. Joe.
A real American hero or a real world hero?
American.
Well, didn't they try to change it in some of the later stuff? And a world protecting hero.
Oh, you know what? Good segue. So this is a G.I. Joe episode.
Hmm.
Xtreme went to Joe Fest. We'll get into that. Zlurpcast TV. We got Mike, Biran, Xtreme, myself, Jonny P here. Was G.I. Joe popular outside of America?
And
They had their own version.
Yes.
Yeah, but not G.I. Joe though.
No, it was Battle Force or Action Force.
It was Action Force, but it was the same molds for the characters and stuff. And
Well, they had their own. Action Force had its own characters initially, but then they kind of switched and just started reprinting Marvel stuff, and so they switched over to using all the same characters. But initially, their own bad guy instead of Cobra Commander and whole. And I'm told those books are actually like more adult oriented and like real war type books.
They have Cobra Captain.
No, there was no Cobra initially.
British Snake Eyes accent or no accent?
Who knows?
did he think with an accent?
I thought maybe the word bubble might have been like a different shape.
Why would there be a word bubble?
You tell me.
Like it would be his thought bubble, and he would think
Yeah.
aluminium over there.
You have to be able to think. We have to know you're thinking, you know.
But Larry doesn't like, so if Larry wrote it, then there wouldn't really be any thought bubbles.
No, it would be Lawrence Hama, not Larry.
Yes. But he doesn't
Larry,
like
if you're
thought
nasty.
bubbles
Or to quote Mike last week, Larry Hama.
Hammer.
That's the Schomburg pronunciation.
It's the hammer time.
Hama. Most people say Han. Some people say Han.
But what I was mentioning with the thought bubbles kind of goes back to something we were talking about before we were recording, where Larry didn't like thought bubbles or the boxes that described where they were, because he would, before he was a writer, when he was drawing, he would do pages and then look at them later and they were just covered with words.
Yeah.
And he didn't do artwork anymore. And some of the boxes were describing the artwork that they were covering up, and that frustrated him.
Show don't tell. He was a show don't tell kind of guy.
Yes.
What do you got there, Biran?
I got Storm Shadow.
It's super cool, Storm Shadow.
Yep.
Might be the coolest toy I own.
Not bad.
It'd be the coolest toy you own, yes.
Yes. Because I don't have all those hot toy things on me.
You know what? I'm waiting for the classified one and I'll be fine with that one. I think it'll look great.
Classified one looks good too.
Is that how posable is that, Biran?
It's
Super.
1 billion points of articulation.
And you
More
chose
posable than
to not,
classified.
you chose to not use any of them.
I do the kind of museum pose.
You do that.
Although you could, because it's not a rubberized suit, so you don't have to worry about it creasing.
Is it soft goods?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, usually his hood looks a little weird. Other than that, I think it.
Yeah, that's
worked
why I
out
kept
pretty
it down. But also, what should we call it? Completely hidden joint articulation points. It's
Like a
under his
Kindle.
skin.
Mm. So you're not gonna be able to tell where they are. He just looks
Yeah.
like a statue.
Well, but you can still bend it.
Right. But no, I mean like when you're posing it, it's
Yeah.
not an obvious. Yeah.
Mine's posed a little bit more than that.
Not bad. You
But I
guys
also
only
have
taking
Snake
them
Eyes.
off.
You don't have that one yet, do you, Brian?
I don't know.
You got only taking them out for this episode, and they go right back on the shelf.
Right
Right,
back in the
it's-
Magic
It's
Case.
spot on myself. I look at often.
All right. I just want to know how much play they get. That's all.
I'll play very little.
Yeah.
I mean, none of my. I play with my toys to find the pose I want, and then that's where they stay.
Forever
Pretty much.
until they fall down, maybe.
Yes, until they fall down. Because I have this awesome Snake Eyes pose with my classifieds where he's shooting bats and he was like leaning back.
So
But he-
I had an awesome Snake Eyes pose too, and I had him on the on the base, like but like a John Woo kind of like thing over. But then he was falling over, so I had to still lean him. It's like, does that defeat the purpose if you have to do the lean when putting him on a base? But
Yeah.
I wanted the pose. So we're talking about GI Joe. Like anything, resurgence and everything from our youth, just like movies. No original ideas. Let's just come out with new shit of the old shit. GI Joe Classifieds. It's a fun 6-inch series of figures. A lot of us are collecting those. Fun to see what's out. His Tank is now out. There's a huge
Let's
amount of
talk
people
about
pledged
that. I think because of how popular that His Tank HasLab was, we're going to see a lot more of these.
Oh yeah,
The Star
I've
Wars,
actually
Star Wars
started-
was sputtered out.
Well, the problem is, it's like the Star Wars universe versus the GI Joe universe. It's you can't even compare them. It's like GI Joe, in my opinion, is every character that comes out, there's I remember that guy, I love that guy. Like, you don't get that with Star Wars. You just don't. There's 4 or 5 different eras people collect. There's just too much stuff. So coming out with what was it, the Rancor, right?
Yeah.
It was like $800, or was it more than that? I don't even know.
No, it wasn't. I think it was 300, wasn't it?
I thought it was more.
It's just
Either
the
way,
extras
apparently
were
too
garbage.
much.
Yeah.
Apparently too much. And also, who wants that though? Like no one wants that.
It's not as
If you're
cool
gonna
as
come out
like
with
the
something
Sentinel for Marvel.
I think I think the Sentinel, would be a much more in demand.
It's a lot
I
bigger.
just think, I mean, if you're going to come out with a big thing for Star Wars, maybe start with like an ATST or something, like something that you feel people might actually
And they
want.
did do that, but not to the Black Series scale. Only to
Not the Black Series scale.
Right.
What stream?
They did that barge.
That was 3 1/4 scale though.
Oh, was it?
It was great.
That-
It looks awesome.
That looks really cool. But if you're doing 6-inch scale though, you got to be real choosy about what you pick.
Like you
Well,
do a
with the
snow
His Tank-
speeder.
Well, like getting back to the His Tank and the difference between those lines, like the GI Joe line, a Real American Hero line, was really just figures to sell vehicles. Like the vehicles is where they were making their big money. So it was a vehicle line with figures that go in the vehicles.
Yeah.
So that kind of into the His Tank being more popular than
And the His Tank is probably the most iconic vehicle, I would say.
I think.
I would say, even though you're supposed to think Joe stuff is more iconic than Cobra stuff,
Cobra stuff is always cooler.
I actually think you're in the iconic like topic. I think that His Tank has that more than a Joe vehicle would, just because there wasn't a standout.
That was in
what's
so
the
many
standout-
episodes and so many.
What's the standout Joe vehicle? The Vamp.
The Vamp, the Sky Striker.
I think the Vamp is.
But is
I
that
think it's-
exciting? That's a Jeep,
Right.
Yeah, but it's iconic though.
Yeah.
I think it's the most iconic thing that Joe's had, but it's too similar to a Jeep.
What
I think you
What was
could
the-
realistically do the Vamp as a regular retail release.
I had the what was the big rocket launcher tank? Is that Wolverine?
Slugger.
Was it called Wolverine? Or am I making that up?
They had their version of the M1, a small M1 Abrams, and they had a self-propelled artillery as well.
I think this was bigger than an M1 or
Yeah.
bigger than an.
Yeah, the Wolverine was a tank with like a big rocket launcher on the back of it.
Wasn't it like a heavy tank though? Like his size or bigger?
It was pretty big.
I remember having that, thinking that was cool. I also really dug the APC they had too, because when you pull off the top, you had all the spots for the guys in there. I forgot
That
the
was
name
also
of that one.
like a figure storage solution.
But if I'm thinking, so if we're talking about iconic vehicles we remember and loved,
I'd
His
say Rattler.
Tank, Rattler for me was big. Love the Rattler. His
Cool.
Tank.
What about the Tomahawk?
The what?
So the Tomahawk was the Joe.
Yeah, the Joe big helicopter. You could fit like 8 or 9 guys
Was
inside.
Oh,
Wild
is that
Bill?
the Chinook that had the double rotors? came with-
No,
I don't think I had that one actually.
I don't think so.
I think it was a Chinook, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it did have double rotors. You're right. Yeah.
Because they had Wild Weasels, which was a Cobra, Funny enough, the Cobra helicopter was Wild Weasel.
You know what I dug was the little Fang helicopter.
the open air one.
I love that. We need more because you have
But
to be able
the
to jump
problem
out.
that it didn't come with a pilot. It was not a high enough tier to include a pilot.
No, I had Destro on that one. So
I had a couple of trouble bubbles.
Yeah.
you did? Yeah. I had the water moccasin, I believe,
Yeah.
because
That came with Coppermouth
Copperhead, maybe.
or Copperhead. Yeah.
You might be right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
My biggest
I
thing, I
guess-
had the whale. I had the hovercraft.
the Joe hovercraft.
Yeah, the whale.
Yeah, I
think
had
it
that
was.
one too. I don't remember it being called the whale. I could be wrong on that. I had it as well. But
Came
did
with
it have
Thunder.
a thing like they would deploy from the front on that one, right?
Right. They had an assault ramp like a Land Raider, but they also
Yeah,
had a
I
little
remember-
sled that could shoot out from the bottom that one guy could drive.
I think I might have just called it the hovercraft. I
Yeah.
might not even called it the real name.
It had wheels on it, so it floated, but it could also drive around on land.
Yeah. So point being, when you're looking at iconic vehicles, I think Cobra usually
more.
has most of those. Iconic characters on the Joe side, though.
Well, because Cobra actually had grunts, whereas GI Joe didn't really.
Yeah. It maybe seems like because
The Joes.
Cobra has the cool vehicles, so you need more.
Joe had one guy named
No.
Grunt.
Rob Graves, I believe. Joe's needed more infantry with names and abilities to combat the sheer firepower and armor of the Cobra. So anyway, pretty cool line. I've got some up there. Love collecting it. Reading the comic as well. It's ending at issue 300. They're at 294 now. Xtreme.
Yep, 294.
And when do they have to finish by?
Just the end of the year. Right now, if they stay on schedule, 300 will be out in November. So in theory, they could do trade paperbacks in December.
Hmm.
So I need to get caught up on that. I just been slacking. I'm catching up on the trades, but I have been buying the issues since 88. Xtreme took a trip with his family, a fun sort of southeastern trip. A lot of fun things you did, Xtreme. We're not going to talk about most of them though, unless you want to. You don't want to?
I always find so they let you drink booze while playing with alligators.
Yeah.
I saw a
that's
picture of
great.
you guys with beers in your hand at the alligator
Yeah.
farm.
Well, it's Florida.
It is Florida.
I think it was like 9:30 in the morning too.
Yep.
So
I go, I know it's a little late, you guys, but here's a beer. I know you got a late start.
On the way to Florida, you stopped at, is it Augusta or Augusta?
Augusta, they're known for the Masters,
Yep.
a golf tournament.
But not
Um,
Masters of the Universe. This time it was GI Joe.
That's correct. Yeah, so my family was kind enough to entertain me and make a one-day stop in Augusta before we continued on to Florida.
Did they do it so you wouldn't be a whiny bitch the whole time?
No, actually, like I brought it up joking because I didn't think I thought it was a stupid idea. And Jenny's like, "Oh, we're going on vacation this week." I was like, "Oh, we could stop in Augusta and go to Joe Fest." And she's like, "Sure." I was like, I was joking. It's like a selfish thing. Like it's fun. And she's like, "No, really, I think we should." I was like, "Okay."
If
So we
you
went.
didn't have a vacation plan and it, at a different time, let's say, were you going to go anyway?
To Joe Fest?
Yeah.
No, I never thought it was possible. It's just so far away. Like I just never considered it. But because the vacation just happened to be planned at that time, it worked out.
It was fated
That's
to
the
happen.
beauty of a road trip vacations. You can call an audible and make some things happen.
Yeah. So I was familiar with Joe Fest. I followed it stuff in the past. I know it's been smaller the last couple of years because of COVID. But yeah, so I was able to go and looking at the guest list, there were a lot of people on a lot of GI Joe artists were going to be there. That was
What is COVID again?
I don't. It's something Cobra made up.
I thought it was like it's like initials.
Yeah.
See, like Cobra oriented vampire initiative diary. You know what I mean?
It sounds right. Yeah. But typically they have amongst their guests, they always have or seemed to always have, Sergeant Slaughter and Larry Hama. But this year, both of them had other things scheduled that weekend, so neither of them were there. So that's kind of a bummer because I wanted to see both of them.
Was Slaughter not there because he's currently deployed?
No, he was. I'm pretty sure he's retired from pretending.
I think he was exhausted because Cobra extracted his DNA to make Serpentor.
I heard Sergeant Slaughter, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't pass his test to actually get in the military. I heard that he said, I'm going to see how this toy thing plays out, and then join WWF at the time as an Iraqi sympathizer.
I think he was wrestling before he was a Joe. But to bring it back to the UK, he's Sergeant Slammer in the UK.
Oh.
Did the
Same
UK
guy?
get a version of the fridge action figure?
I don't think they did.
But they
no.
put like a West Ham United jersey on him instead.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
The ice
That'd be a
box.
good custom.
So those two guests weren't there, but there was plenty of other people I wanted to see.
Were you worried if Larry Hama was there that he would be like, "Are you fucking stalking me?" Because you just saw
No,
him.
I mean, yeah. So the real reason I wanted to see him again is because the 40th anniversary issue, it came out after I saw him, and I'm working on a project with that, which I guess we can talk about now. So I got 2 copies of that 40th anniversary book, and I'm trying to get all the artists that worked on it. So in that book, the different Joe artists took on each page of issue 21. So each page is done by a different artist. So I'm trying to get collect signatures on the cover of one for my wall. And then on another one, I'm trying to get all the artists to sign the page that they worked on. And it's going to go in one of my custom binds.
Nice.
So with that plan in mind, you know, I need to run into Larry again because he did the cover. But at Joe Fest, there were 3 artists that worked on that book that were supposed to be there. One of them ended up canceling like a week before, which was a bummer because I also contacted all the artists that were there and commissioned them to do a picture for me. So I was picking those up as well. And then one of them wasn't there, so he's shipping it to me. It's supposed to ship out today with some other stuff that is Jamie Sullivan, who does a lot of the covers for G.I. Joe. And he wasn't able to come. He lives in California, so gas prices and flying and whatever, he canceled because of travel cost, which makes sense, but it was disappointing. But he did a Facebook Live thing and sold some other stuff, so I ended up buying some stuff from him while I was in Augusta. So I have like a big box of stuff that's supposed to come to me.
So have you ever considered offering, if you do this commission artwork for me, I'll paint some miniatures for you? Are you familiar with X painting and the services?
Yeah,
I heard it's closed.
From one
I don't know if
artist
there's-
to another.
I don't know if there's a lot of crossover there, but
No.
I know the G.I. Joe board game has miniatures.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. And so leading into that, Robert Atkins and Bryan Atkins were both at the convention, and they're both the head artist for Renegade.
Mhm.
So they're doing all the card art and all the miniature art for those.
They do
games.
the stuff in the role-playing game book too.
I believe so. Yeah.
That's some really good stuff in that book, by the way.
Yeah. I think there's other.
I
artists
like
that-
the art in the book a lot.
Yeah, I think Robert Atkins is like the head artist for all the Renegade games. And Bryan is his brother, who also does art for, or did art for G.I. Joe and did inking and stuff, but hasn't for quite a while. So I saw both of them and got stuff from them, which I have props I can show off here.
Are we all showing stuff? Is that
Yep.
Mike,
Illustrators, Robert Atkins.
put your dick out, Mike?
Robert Atkins is down as an illustrator for the RPG.
I got, there we go. This was a Robert Atkins original that I commissioned from him of Storm Shadow. I'm trying to get Joe artists to do Storm Shadow because I'm working on a project for that, which I won't get into because it's stupid. And I'm the one
Is
that
it for
cares
your
about it.
special
Is there a,
YouTube channel
gonna
about G.I.
invite-
Joe?
Yeah.
are you going to
On,
invite the actual Storm Shadow to come over at some time just to see it all?
Sure. Yeah, that'd be awesome. But I also commissioned a Storm Shadow piece from Bryan Atkins, which he didn't bring with him. So that's being shipped to me as well. and he also didn't have a picture of it, which is weird because he posts pictures constantly on Instagram. So he was kind of trying to figure out why he didn't have a picture of it too, but it's done and it's shipping to me.
Do you think they don't like you, or do you think it's accident?
Or do you think they weren't very proud of that one?
I don't know. I mean, he has someone like a business manager that deals with all of that. So he said he dropped it off to him, which makes sense because he doesn't want to deal with that side of things.
But he did all this stuff in there?
Not all of it. There were many illustrators.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That
If you
looks
look at
like
on the first page, it'll say illustrators, and there's a list of them.
Oh, on the first page. I like any good cover girl art, by the way.
So I don't have a picture of Bryan Atkins' piece to show off, but Brian Scherer was also there, who did some Joe work, and he did like a full color painted shadow.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's cool.
What's that
So that's
sword though?
I don't know. It's not Storm Shadow sword, but
It
it's
looks like Excalibur.
it's fine. The rest of the picture is freaking awesome. I didn't even know he's going to do full color on it, so that was pretty cool.
Is he Brian with a Y or an I?
They're both eyes, both Brian's there.
A couple of brains.
Do the brothers cosplay as Tomax and
Zaymon?
Zaymon?
They should, but they don't look similar enough to pull it off. So I also contacted someone else who I didn't realize was like one of the showrunners of Joe Fest at the time that I contacted him to hang on to one of the show posters for me because I wanted to have one of those because realistically, I don't know if I'll ever go back to Joe Fest just because of the distance. So I wanted to have this cool show poster to remember it by. And Robert Atkins
cool.
did the art on this too.
I like
So,
that.
That's really cool. I like that. But
Is
does
that,
have your least favorite character on it.
Yeah, I see him. Is that a repurposed comic cover?
No, this is a completely originally did for the
Oh.
convention.
Cool.
Which Augusta's kind of a, I never saw the golf course or that area, but the area that the convention was in has like a small old downtown thing. And there's every store had one of these posters in their window, not that big, smaller versions, but it was really cool to see like that community, like supporting it and everything. But Joe Fest also, they advertise it separately as a toy and comic show. So there's also this poster that was made, which I don't have framed, with Transformers, and Brian Scherer, the guy that did the color Storm Shadow, did this one, so I had him sign it.
It's a big crossover fan base.
Well, they also
Yeah.
did crossover issues as well.
Right. But I mean, like I'm not a Transformers fan at all, really, but I've noticed it's weird because like following the Renegade stuff, somehow Power Rangers got in that mix too. And it's like, I had no idea the three of them are now linked. Is it just linked because of Renegade, or is it truly a triple crossover there?
There's nothing linking Power Rangers to it, but like officially, but I think it's just all nostalgia toys.
Okay.
But yeah, the convention was, I was primarily going for comic books and comic book art more than toys. I really don't buy, right now, I don't own any 3 3/4 inch Joes. And the classifieds, I'm being kind of selective on which ones I buy. So I wasn't really there for the toys at all, which was, I'd say there's like 20% of the booths were comics. So I was pretty cool with that. And all the comic artists that were there was really neat. But the toy booths there, I would say 80% or 75% or so were GI Joes, and the rest were other stuff. I was really happy that there weren't a whole bunch of Funko Pop booths because I think it was just.
How many were there though? You saw some.
I think there was only one that was like complete Funko Pops.
I don't think people. I mean, I know everyone likes. I mean, Funko Pops are such widely
They're for the
accepted.
normies, yeah.
I just don't see. I think Xtreme. Correct me if I'm wrong. I bet she was primarily used retro figures.
It was, but I mean, I've seen, like when I went to the Lexington Comic Con, there were tons of Funko Pop booths. And I think my annoyance is that they're taking up space. Like something I'm interested could be here instead. But not that I don't like all the Funko Pops I have, I think I got as gifts. And I appreciate them, but I'm never going to look at a wall of Funko Pops and take the time to see if there's anything I'm interested
My
in.
eyes actually go crazy after a while looking at those. Like because they all start to just blend together. Because
they all start with the same basic body. They're terrible.
Well, 90% of them look the same, unless it's truly a different looking. Like Chewbacca will look like it's not gonna look like
a stormtrooper, any armored guy.
Right. So I see that wall and I'm just like, it's a bit much. So it's, I would think that a lot of it would be like the retro stuff with, I'm sure you probably saw some pretty big dioramas, like see a flag set up there.
Yeah. So all the booths that had Joe stuff, almost all of them were exclusively like retro, like parts or full figures or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't see any old 12-inch stuff, which was different.
Oh, the fuzzy headed guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the that era. Like, I mean, I don't know if Dean has them, but like that was stuff that they collected when they were kids, because it was like right at the tail end of it all. And I remember seeing it right when I got into it. That was I remember seeing it. Like, I did think some of it was cool. Like, one of the fuzzy head guys, they had a little thing in the back that made his eyes go left and right. I thought that was pretty cool.
I don't think you collected those figures as much as you had like your Joe or maybe two Joes, and then you bought
I think
they
maybe
outfits, and weapon packs, and
maybe 4 or 5. It was enough to kill all the Barbies though, because that was apparently a big deal in my house. Was the
because they were bigger. They were like Amazons.
Murder Ken and Barbie. Murder them both.
My dad had the first GI Joe, first 12 inch.
That was the old. They're all soft goods.
Yeah,
right.
well, that's all I had.
He still has his foot locker with a tray with all the weapons.
Yeah, I remember that.
Stuff, so it's pretty cool.
So did you see any? Did you look? I'm kind of curious because the last time I was at a convention that had some of the classified stuff, the prices had come down from their peak on some of the harder to find stuff, but it was still pretty high.
Yeah, all the classified prices that I saw were reasonable. They're like $5-10 over retail.
But what I've noticed is the classified pricing. The only time it's really like enough higher is if it's right before you're going to get them. So
yeah, like the Alley Viper was going for quite a bit at the one.
Oh yeah, so I picked up a bat for $35. Didn't really want to spend $35 because it's a $20 figure. Which, will it be readily available? Probably not in stores.
Well, any troop builders, people buy every one they see when they see a troop builder.
Yeah, that. But I mean, one of my pre-orders would have come in at some point, but I was like, fuck it. I wanted it at that moment. I got it at that moment. But like, I saw Storm Shadow, well, online. I think Amazon reseller.
Retailer,
yeah. Storm Shadow 45 is the going rate. It's like, okay, well, I'm gonna get mine. I'm gonna get it. It's almost like I cut it off at 35. I don't know why I arbitrarily.
I think 30 is what I spent on the Cobra Trooper I bought. Just not the Target one with all the extra stuff. It was just the basic Cobra Trooper.
But it was Cobra Trooper in black, though, correct?
Oh, I don't know.
Like black, because I don't have that. I only have Cobra Infantry. I bought 4 of them because
Oh no, it's just infantry.
Is it blue?
Yeah, it's blue.
Okay. The black one was hard to get. The black one's called Cobra Trooper. That's Cobra Infantry.
The Target exclusive was this guy just with a lot more extra stuff, right?
Yeah, but his stuff was all in black. So
yeah.
And then the one that's coming out this month is Cobra Officer with, I believe, a black face mask.
So, the troopers are my favorite still. Any trooper figure.
Oh, I love them. They're the best.
So I saw that Valaverse was there. Did you see their booth at all?
I did. Valaverse was there. They had all the current figures that were out, and they had I picked up some comics from them. I got the first 3 they did a second printing on, so I was able to get those. And then issue 7 is.
Yeah, I'm curious if those are any good. Yeah.
So their Action Force comics, is that like a redo of what they had in the past?
No.
No. Hasbro just totally let that name drop. They didn't care to renew it, so they picked it up and they're starting their own Action Force.
Yeah, because their stuff is not. It's their own creation. Aside from the Sergeant Slaughter, it's all their own stuff, their own lore, and it's kind of cool. Yeah. I like it.
There's a couple like actual military guys in there though.
Yeah, they made figures off of real dudes. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So Valaverse was there, and there was I forget the name, Dime that has their own line that's all like westerns and cool stuff, but it's all like 3 3/4 inch like Joe type things. And there was like 2 other companies that are all making their own line of figures that were there. I caught the tail end of one of the panels, for one of the companies that I can't remember the name of, because I was waiting for the after action report panel, which is a cool book that Kickstarter just ended on volume 2. But it's just like a resource reference for all the G.I. Joe comics. They have a picture of every cover and a little description of where it was and stuff.
Is that the book, the big book that I backed? That's not the same thing.
No, the one that you backed was just the artwork.
Okay.
This is it's somewhere up there.
I feel like you're doing
but
a poor job of informing us of these cool things that are coming out on Kickstarter.
Well, the only reason you would want this is if you were a big G.I. Joe comics person.
Yeah, I think he would have let us know if he, like, Xtreme knows our interest level in different things. I think he's a pretty good gauge of
So
that.
if it was covered in like a mossy substance, you would have let me know, because you know that would be
Yes,
you'll make it
for sure. It's also a softback, so that
okay. Well, thank you. Here's the. By the way, the Valaverse has good guy troopers, and this is what they are.
Yeah,
and they're coming out with a lady version. I'm very excited. I think that was a missed opportunity for G.I. Joe to not just have troops.
Yeah, I haven't read the comics yet. I'm looking forward to it. Really should.
Is it though, Biran? Because I don't think there were. I mean, feel free to correct me. I don't think there were any
Everyone was a specialist. There was no
unremarkable G.I. Joes. Everybody was. Even the generic one, Grunt, was given a name,
right?
Robert Graves, and that was.
I just love troopers so much that I just think they could have done cool stuff.
But they're easier to die. So when a trooper dies, nobody cares.
Right. When
a named person dies, we
when
care.
You throw an erect snake into the heart of Duke, does he die?
No, he would be. Doc would take care of him.
Yeah.
He'd somehow pull through.
Even though they bullied Doc because of his pacifist tendencies.
After action report, okay.
So it just has like pictures of all the issues and like variations.
Does that cover every issue?
This volume 1 was all the Marvel years. Volume 2 was on Kickstarter recently, just ended. It's going to be the Devil's Due and all the stuff that's coming out during that time. They're planning 5 volumes, I think. So eventually it will cover everything.
So perhaps a giant fuzzy slipcase version?
Well, I talked to Josh, the guy that writes all the summaries. There's 2 guys that are doing the whole project, but the other guy wasn't able to make it. But I talked to Josh for a while, and he was asking, you know, at the end of this, would you be interested in like buying a hardcover that had everything in it? And I was like, maybe, but I would rather just have a slipcase and have all the books slide into that. So I'd have that because I don't want to rebuy.
Did you ask him about putting a mossy green cover on it though? I
didn't. I should have.
Did you offer to actually create the bindings for all of them yourself on the side?
No.
For no money.
No. But it's really cool because I get like era correct artists to do the covers. So like on the next cover, it'll be Josh Belaylock, who did a lot of the Devil's Due stuff, did the covers for that. And some of the extras you get like a small black and white version that in theory you could take to the store with you and use as a checklist.
Oh, cool.
I
backed a Kickstarter like that for Game Boy, where someone did that every Game Boy release in the US, every game that came out.
Like forever, even like towards the end?
Yeah.
Okay, wow. That became a lot at the end when it was the color one came out and everything.
Well, in this one, I only have volume 1. I don't know if you ever got through all the volumes, but it was pretty extensive.
Xtreme, any thought go through your head about, and this is not meant to be a joke question, you know, not meant to get laughs from the peanut gallery. Did you think about dressing up?
I did not, no. I was only able to go Sundays. Saturday was the big cosplay day, but that leads into another.
All you would need is a Hawaiian shirt and your Chuckles.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't look like Chuckles, though.
No, Chuckles is a big boy.
Biran, you with the blonde wig would look like Chuckles.
Yeah, I could do it.
Yeah. But
did you consider going in blackface as Roadblock?
No.
What about Heavy Duty?
Nah.
What about Stalker?
What about Dog?
I did not consider dressing up at all.
If you were dressing up, blackface wouldn't be on the list, though, correct?
Probably not. No.
Did you consider inflicting burns all over your face and going as an unmasked Snake Eyes?
No. So I forget the name of the stormtrooper thing with all their cosplay stuff, but the G.I. Joe.
501st Legion.
Yes, there it is. So the G.I. Joe version is the finest, and they have their big group that does cosplay together. They had a table set up outside of the exhibit hall, and I ended up buying a print from them, both because I really liked the print, but also
You
they
felt
were
bad because they
raising
couldn't
money.
get in the exhibit hall.
No, they were raising money for this organization that takes rescue dogs and trains them to be to help
Attack dogs.
veterans with disability.
They don't sell them off to Destro, Mars Corp.
They don't. So they rescue dogs and then train them to be service animals for vets. So you're kind of helping dogs and helping vets. So it's hard not to support that. Because initially I was like, I'm buying too much artwork. I only have so many walls to put stuff on. But when they told me about, what they're
They showed
raising
you a
money
cute
for,
dog helping a soldier, and you're like, oh,
yeah, I think they raised.
Meanwhile, when you buy art from Larry Hama, it's like it's his fourth house. It's what you're going to support. Yeah.
I think he has a very small apartment, but sure.
His fourth apartment, then.
comic creators do not make a lot of money anymore.
So I ended up buying this cool Sergeant Slaughter beating up a bunch of bats.
Oh,
That
nice.
is really cool.
I like the colors too. Wow.
Yeah, so it was really cool. So I got that from them, supporting the good cause and getting some cool artwork.
Wait,
a couple
so
of the other.
why were the cosplay group was selling prints for this?
Yeah, for the good cause.
For some reason, I just assumed it was going to be artwork of the cosplayer,
Yeah,
or
a
like
photo
a
of them.
photo
Like-
of the
like-
cosplayers,
Of
and
like a
you're
morbidly obese Duke posing.
right? And you're like, I only have so many walls. I don't want fat Destro on my walls.
I think they had like a set of trading cards that were pictures of the cosplayers, but then they had like 7 or 8 prints that were just like cool art prints.
Okay.
Well, to be
That's
fair,
cool.
the Baroness was pretty hot. The picture I saw.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, I don't know if it was all filled out or if that was the costume, but
Enhanced. Yeah.
No, it's part of the armor, but it's fine. What are you going to check?
yeah.
Can't check. It can't check anymore.
There were, along with the artists, there were several of the voice actors from the cartoon there.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
So the guy that did Destro, I can't remember his name right.
Is he black?
Hold on, don't wait. Okay, so we as kids we used to joke Destro's black because of the voice,
But his
he has
chest was white.
his chest was white and his data card says from Scotland.
Right.
So but from a voice acting standpoint,
He was
what
black.
was it? Black. Okay.
He was?
He also did several
Well,
other.
is as well.
Is.
Biran is. He's
Is.
still with us.
Yes,
What
he did.
list off the do you know what all the ones he did was?
I don't know all of them. I know Lifeline was one.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I don't remember the rest. But then Michael Bell was also there. Not the Michael Bell we know, but another voice actor. And he did like 12 different Joes. The guy that did Spirit was there, so I was interested in that.
Were they
but
American?
Was he Native American?
I thought a lot of them were Japanese.
the
No.
voice actors?
Yeah. No.
No.
Oh.
No. There was a Japanese American, but so I was interested in a couple of these. And I thought maybe I'd get like the show poster signed, but all the voice actors were charging what I thought was insane prices for their autograph. Like, you are known as a voice actor on an 80s cartoon, but you want $40 for you to sign a picture. Like, I'm good.
$40 maybe for a bundle of all of them.
Yeah, I would do that, but like $40 a piece.
I guess
was
it
like, nah.
depends if they're still doing that kind of work and they do other.
I think a lot of it also depends on, and I mean, it's only going to come with doing newer things. But if you can't recognize who they are without their sign in front of them, should it be $40?
Right.
For some, like Peter Cullen, yes.
Yeah, you're going to recognize them now.
I don't know. I barely know what he looks like, but I'd recognize his voice anywhere.
I think you've seen him enough where you might.
Now,
right.
the only reason I know what he looks like is because of the movies. Before the movies, though, where you didn't see pictures of these guys.
Yeah.
So
I just.
But are these guys? If these guys still do current stuff, then yeah, maybe they can demand that price.
I don't think any of these those particular guys were. Maybe I'm wrong. It's just stuff I've never heard of. But there were also there was one, before I go into the other one, there was one voice actor that I did pay for his autograph. It was Keon Young. He did Storm Shadow's voice. But as I had him sign this cool Storm Shadow comic that's part of a mini series that goes into my Storm Shadow project I'm working on. But it was really cool, like having a brief conversation with him. He knew Larry Hama in the 70s, and he knew him as a guy that played in a band in a bar, because they were both in the same area in New York, and they were both trying to get into acting and like getting small roles and stuff. And Kyung Young was also in Deadwood, so I loved it. It was pretty cool.
Did he talk about getting fucked up with Larry back in the day?
No, he mentioned like Larry would like do little sketches and doodles for him all the time. He's like, I would have hung on to him if I knew they were going to be worth something, but they all got like thrown away. And I just thought it was really cool that these two guys in the 70s would end up working on the same property in different areas, but like have no connection to it. And it's serendipitous, I guess.
Did he look like Storm Shadow?
He did not, no.
Is he the Japanese American gentleman?
In Deadwood, the guy that had the hog pin.
Oh, Mr. Chin.
Yes, Mr. Chin.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what he looks like. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Like the short conversation I had with him.
Look at G.I. Joe casting, politically sensitively.
Yeah, for that one. I mean, Spirit was not a Native American.
He could be. He could be like, I don't know, 1/8.
Maybe.
Possibly 2/15.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
possibly.
1/1024th, like
Yeah, Biran is
like Elizabeth
I think,
Warren.
Yeah, Biran has a little bit in him. I don't know how much. Like it's a prime number, but it's something.
Yeah, it's a small one.
197th, I think. I don't know.
I got mistaken for Italian once. Does that count?
No.
Sure.
Did you order gabagool?
No. I don't
So
know how
along with-
someone would mistake me for Italian.
Along with the voice actors, they also had a couple like D-list or lower celebrities there that I barely knew what the hell they were talking about. So like Biff's friend from Back to the Future was there.
Oh, wow.
Which one? 3D?
Skinhead, I think.
So 3D, I believe, is played by Casey Zemesco, who was in a bunch of other things. He was in like the Mice and Men movie and just a few other things that we've seen. But that's just, I think, happenstance that a guy in Biff's gang did other things.
Yeah.
I believe the other ones didn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah, and there was also a guy that was in the first two seasons of Stranger Things, and he had pictures of himself in it, but I couldn't even remember the character. So I was like, yeah.
Like,
I don't.
I've been to cons where the actor who played Biff Tannen was at the con, not some side character for Biff Tannen.
Right. And yeah.
But I wanted to
so
get Biff to sign or was it Tackleberry from Police Academy? I get them mixed up. They're not the same
Right.
person, right?
No, they're not.
Okay.
Tackleberry's dead, by the way. Biff's not.
good to know.
Hmm.
So I wasn't interested in those, but they also had Ron Rudat was there. So that was pretty huge. Like I mean, if you played with toys in the 80s, he probably had some hand in doing artwork for packaging or designing toys. The big lines were G.I. Joe, I think through 87. And then the WWF Hasbro figures, he did all the designing and packaging art for that.
I would say his art is what most people are familiar with.
Yeah, for sure. So I stopped by to talk to him. He's a very quiet, like reserved guy, and I knew that. So putting the two of us together, there was no conversation at all. I was like, I'll buy this.
Yeah, you guys just got right to the making out, right?
Right to the
So,
finger bang.
So I got a print from him signed of Storm Shadow.
That's cool.
Nice.
He's got the right sword.
He does, yes. Two of them. So that was pretty cool. So I saw him, and that was kind of the one thing I could like geek out with Taylor and my brother about. I was like, hey, I just met Ron Rudat, and he knew who I was talking about, and that was fun. Other than that, it was just all like, I didn't really have anyone to talk about like my G.I. Joe fetish with, because no one else is interested.
Even the the other, because didn't you have like other guys your age as part of your family group?
Not until we got to Florida. They were already there. They have a timeshare there. We were kind of meeting up with them.
Was there any of that? Hey, by the way, I stopped in a GI Joe, or was it still mum's the word? I'm trying to be a normie now.
I didn't really mention it too much. I might have mentioned it like offhand, but I don't think they're the right.
You threw out the bait and you let it dangle there for a little bit, but no one picked it up, so you just reeled it back in and put it away.
Pretty quickly.
Or did you just say, you guys ought to find out on Zlurpcast with everybody else?
Right. Yeah. Listen to the Zlurpcast and you'll hear.
Like the what?
Slurpee?
Let's go to the alligator farm and get drunk.
That's right. I did buy a print from an artist who's not a GI Joe artist, but does super cool artwork. I've seen him at other cons actually, but he did an exclusive for this convention where the prints were numbered and limited. And I got number 3 of 100. But it's this cool Serpentor piece, crushing, slaughter.
Oh, and his little it is whatchamacallit tank.
His little stupid tank.
His mobility scooter.
Wait, what was his tank? Was it the one with the thing that spins around?
No, it's a 6-wheeled tank thing.
What was it called? It was stupid. It was like a small white tank.
It was the size of a golf cart.
I don't remember that at all. Huh.
He can't. That's how you got the figure. You had to buy that. Came with that.
Oh, then I had the figure. I don't know.
The retail figure. Then he was a mail-in initially, so I had the mail-in, and then he came out retail with this tank, and I got that version. And there was actually a third version, I think, too.
Yeah, because that and the tank was in the cartoon as well.
Yeah,
a couple times I think.
Never in the comic though.
He was Larry like, this is too stupid.
Yeah, I think Larry put him in the number of issues he had to, and that was it. Which is a bummer.
I think there's some animosity there. Like you haven't earned your GI Joe spot.
No, I think the characters he didn't like, you could tell when you're reading the comics. Like Raptor's a big one. Like when he had to put Raptor in, and
was that the bird guy?
Other characters in the comic are making fun of him and his outfit, and then eventually he just dies or disappears. He's gone.
Larry is a Chuckles fan though.
But I'm a big Sergeant Slaughter fan. Like in my Joe world, when I was playing with my toys, he was the leader of my Joes. So
is Sergeant Slaughter and Lieutenant Falcon the only two that actually have their rank in their name?
No, I think there's other ones.
General Hawk.
General Hawk. There's a few.
Well, Admiral Keelhaul was in his name.
But Lieutenant seems like an awfully, like, I'm a lieutenant, I need that in my name, where GI Joe is kind of a rankless organization. Well, you did know their pay grades. That was on the
they did every now and then though. They did mention ranks depending on.
Well, they said where they stand, and because they usually said it to put Beachhead in his place.
Right.
When Beachhead was getting all snippy, they go, "Hey, you're below."
Right. He gets out of line sometimes.
In some of the comics, they really delve into Falcon a bit more, and like how there's some animosity there because he went through the officer track where the other guys are, at the level. Yeah. But yeah, so I think that's everything I did there. I bought a bunch of stuff.
We should end the show before Mike gets back. As a good.
Everybody hide.
Just fucking leave. Yeah, can you do hide and seek on Zoom? Is that a thing?
Yeah, pretty easy.
There was a booth that had 50% off trades, and they had some hardcovers mixed in, so I bought a few things from them.
Would you get that you didn't have, or you had in floppy, or?
I picked up a couple of Joe trades that I didn't have just in case, because I've like expanded my collecting. Initially, it was just only a Real American Hero, where now I'm kind of expanding into the other stuff to kind of just complete everything.
They have a
Did you bargain with yourself saying, this is the only thing I really collect, this is the line I collect, so it's okay?
Yeah, but then I broke those rules, and now I collect everything.
Yeah, but it's still within the GI Joe pantheon.
Yes. Yeah.
Any 15s Extreme?
No 15s, no.
No on 15.
I bought a Sons of Anarchy hardcover that was pretty cool, so I'm looking forward to reading that.
The Motorcycle Gang?
Yep. There was a comic book that kind of continued or fit in between seasons, I think. I'm not sure.
And your orc army was called the Sons of Malarkey, right?
Yep.
That's a show I only watched in clip form on YouTube.
Oh, I love that show. That's one of the few shows that I've watched from start to finish multiple times.
Oh, wow.
Mine would probably be West Wing, which is weird considering who I am,
Wow.
and maybe
Um,
House.
Oh, right. So Sunday, the show was 10 to 4, but by 2 o'clock, there were a bunch of people like packing stuff up and leaving. So it's kind of like leave whenever the hell you wanted to, I guess, which was kind of strange. But I like did one final run through of all the stuff, and I had no intention of buying any toys. But like on the overhead PA, they announced that this one booth was having 20% off all vehicles. And that booth happened to be like 3 feet away from where I was standing. So I was like, sure, I'll look. And the one vehicle I've considered getting, like, I don't want to get into the 3 3/4 because I know I'll get carried away with it like I do with everything. So I've intentionally been staying away. But the one thing I keep considering doing is just getting a Thunder machine and all the dreadnoughts to go with it and have like one big display.
Like even the
So they had-
later guy they added, the big guy.
I was gonna say, how many dreadnoughts were there though?
There were quite a few by the time they were
It was
done.
initially
original-
3 plus. Is initially
Three and
3, right?
Zartan.
And Zartan.
I think the big guy you're thinking of is Road Pig.
Yeah, he's got
Yeah,
like
like
the
a
concrete hammer.
Yeah, cinder block on a pole.
I think I got like, I mean, I remember having Zartan and the 3 and
I had the
Zarana.
blonde ponytail guy with the chainsaws.
Yeah, he's in there. He's the
With the
original. He's one of the
buzzsaw.
originals.
He's also the highly educated one that's kind of slumming. I believe that's what his data card
I
indicates.
didn't when we did our episode where we gave each GI Joe names. I think you might have gotten a vote for him.
Yeah,
I don't remember why.
Buzzsaw.
Was
Was it
Goof name?
Buzzsaw? Anyway, the Action Force Dreadnought
Buzz.
sister-looking figure is in the next wave coming out.
Yeah, Xander and
The Rana.
yeah. So they both had the color changing skin like Zartan, which is whatever difference between comic and cartoon was big with Zartan. But anyway, so they had 2 Thunder machines there, and I was like, okay, and it was a pretty good price already before the 20% off. And they had one that was complete, which usually there's a few pieces missing. Like you can almost never find the antenna, and the side mirror and the steering wheel are usually broken off and missing too. This one was complete, had everything, had the antenna.
Did it look like pretty good shape, like not beat up either?
Yeah, it's in really good shape, but the stickers were never put on. So it's missing the stickers, but other than that, it's 100% complete.
You know
I
what's
didn't,
funny?
a lot of times I didn't put stickers on my
I
stuff.
was about to say the same exact thing. Even as a kid, if I fucked up a sticker, I was hesitant to do it again, or I asked for help, or something. But
Well, even if
usually
you
I
did
just
get it
like-
on right, within a year they're peeling off and look like shit.
yeah, a lot of times I didn't put them all on.
I think my dad did all the stickers for me.
Smart.
I don't think
Yeah.
I don't.
Need the steady hand of an adult.
Yeah. But they had a second Thunder machine that had the stickers but was missing a bunch of parts. And I really didn't understand why you wouldn't like put the parts on from the other one to have one 100% complete. So I considered for a second buying both of them.
Right.
And doing it myself.
That's your answer. You just said your answer.
Yeah,
Because
they're not dumb.
What would you? Because there's either two suckers or one big sucker.
Yeah.
This one's complete. This one comes with a hand job.
Right. Extreme's like both 20% off.
So
Were they, by the way, was it like no one was left and you're the only one, and the guy at the booth making his own announcement, 20% off, and he's
No,
like he's looking at you.
You look for
No.
people running towards it.
Like I think he means me. I better walk 3 steps and acknowledge him.
So the guy at the booth had to go to like the main area to have the announcement made for him, and left his wife, I think, running the booth. And because I was so close, I was like the only one there initially. But by the time I was like ready to pay her, the little tiny booth was full of people. But when I grabbed my Thunder machine, like I had this really awkward moment where I was like walking away, and they had one of those shuttles. I forget what it's called, like the shuttle that has like the 3 rockets on it,
You
sitting
mean
on the floor.
the big Joe shuttle?
Yeah. It was sitting on the floor and I didn't see it. So I walked by and I kicked it and it falls apart. Of course, pieces fly everywhere. I was
Did
like,
you just run? I would have just ran.
I kind of wanted to. But I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was like helping her like put it back together. I was like, but it was on the floor,
Right.
out of everyone's
The
eyesight.
thing is, I'm pretty sure that thing completes like $300.
Yeah. Yeah, it ain't cheap.
Probably.
Especially if you got the carrier for it. That is a
Right.
complex playset right there.
I didn't have that, but I knew it was expensive. Here's the thing though. Why, like you said, why is it on the floor if it's that
Right.
valuable?
I mean, it was like below knee level on the floor next to a table. Like I couldn't be expected to see this was there, but whatever. I kicked it. Well, I fixed it. I paid for my Thunder machine and I got out.
Which one did you get? The complete one or the one with the stickers?
Oh,
Both in the hand job.
I got the complete one without the stickers.
Yeah, smart choice.
So, like some of the stickers are pretty important though, like headlights and the lights
Well,
across the.
I don't know if maybe if there's someone who is good with paints.
Right. So my intention is to paint it, then like paint like road dust and rust on it and weather it, and then paint in where the stickers are supposed to be.
You've seen people actually mod their own car to make one of those?
I've seen people try. It rarely looks
Hard to
good.
get it's hard to get a rocket engine though.
It ends up looking more like Homer Simpson's car that he designed than this one.
That was something else. They did it on Saturday, but I got to see some of them, like people doing like custom builds on the figures and like making a little diorama. And they had a contest for that.
I see
there
a
was
lot of that
one
on
group-
Facebook, and it's just like some of it looks like shit, but some of it looks downright amazing.
Yeah, they had a couple panels. There's one that I wanted to do, but it was on Saturday, that had like a couple 3D printed parts, and then told you what figure to buy to put those parts on and paint it, to make your own Don Moreno new Snake Eyes figure that I kind of wanted. But that was on
What,
Saturday.
is this in the right, like the old figures?
No, it was with the classifieds.
Oh, oh wow.
A
There
lot of
were
people
a
are
couple,
modding their classifieds.
yeah, there were
I
a
did-
couple.
I did a few, no big deal.
Any green stuff hair?
No green stuff here. I have my current for showing off. Doesn't have to be the only Xtreme episode, by the way. I mean, I know he likes to think it's all about him, but I have my current man in charge, and this would be General Savage.
Is that
Yeah, I
a
was gonna
wrestling
say.
head?
Is what?
Is that a wrestling head?
Yeah.
It is a wrestling head. And do you know the body? It's not G.I. Joe. Because look at the fucking arm.
It's Winter Soldier.
Close.
I don't know, but I dig the combat weapon.
And okay, and so the vest on him came with the costume so a lot of pouches. If that helps.
Deathlock?
No, but I've used his head before. This is a movie Cable.
Okay.
That's the pouches.
That guy
so
guy buried too many friends to make new ones.
Say what?
That guy looks like he buried too many friends to make any new ones.
Yeah, I think so. And then I have my if I ever get around to playing the role playing game, I made my guy here. His name's Verdict. He's a lawyer. That's why he's got a case.
You got to get the pimp desk.
Look at this shit, by the way. I made Gung Ho's backpack actually functional because the guns that he had in it didn't work right. I put good ones in there.
You need the pimp Destro to get the gold case.
That is pretty cool. I didn't buy it. I like the normal Destro, but that is a cool one though. So a couple of mods, no big deal. Oh, I did. I would consider my Firefly mod.
Oh, from
Yeah,
the Fortnite?
No, I got rid of that one. I didn't like it after a while. It's too small. Does that look bad, Xtreme?
Looks fine.
I mean, I know he's never worn a cloak of any kind, but
Well, you don't know that. I'm sure he has.
it's
Maybe
just
just not on
without it.
screen.
Without it, it looks weird because you take the vest off.
Yeah.
So you need something there.
You know what he
But there
needs?
were-
He needs some soft goods.
I don't know, man.
So there were
Then they become dolls, not action figures.
several tables that are selling 3D printed stuff to make your own classified figures. So they had like a big boa kit that had the head and the boxing gloves, and you just find a body to put it on. I almost bought that one, but I did not. But they had lots of like alternate heads and
Anyone make
stuff.
a Billy figure?
No one did.
Because
I
I,
would-
think that,
I would have spent so
Punisher-
much money at that booth.
yeah, I would have went nuts on there. I think the Punisher alternate head would make a good base for a Billy figure. But
Does he have a patch over his eye?
No, I'd have to make that myself. Xtreme. Green stuff.
Green stuff.
Billy's one of those
Shark.
characters that have died like multiple times in the comics. And
He did die.
he
I've
did
gotten.
die. He dead eventually.
He is dead though, because he doesn't come back. At least in IDW, right?
Well, before that though, he did die
Sure.
and come.
Different run, but I mean, he will stay dead.
Yes.
So very cool trip, Xtreme. I'm glad you got to go. When you first mentioned it, maybe I forgot you were going to tie a vacation to it. I thought it was closer, and two, I thought you were just going to go and just to go.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh, okay, it's really far away. It makes more sense that it was part of a trip because, that's the weird thing about most of our fans are from America. We have some that are not, and besides the obvious reasons why we're a very weird country for many reasons. The distance between cities is both surprising and deceiving at the same time, depending on what you're looking at. Like, oh, that's, like if you are on the East Coast, you can get from here to here to here. And then you go to the rest of the country, like, oh, yeah, nowhere's close to nothing's close to anything. You think it is.
Yeah, doing a lot of road trips, you begin to appreciate. I'd rather go east because you can't go as far.
You get a lot more bang for your buck too.
I drove across South Dakota and it took me 16 hours.
It's like all those states, it becomes the first level of any Mario Kart, and any version. It's just nothing fancy, no tricks, no Rainbow Road here.
Would you have considered Iron Manning Joe Fest?
Probably not.
Not even get a hotel. Just go there, buy some shit, head home.
No, there would have to be at least one night there.
Would you ever ask Larry Hama to split a room?
No.
So how about this? How about this scenario? We all go, we pile in the RV, we just stop at Walmart's to sleep.
Okay.
What's Walmart's?
A lot of Walmarts allow overnight parking of RVs. And they're safe because they're well lit and have security.
What do you mean by safe?
Well, relatively safe.
They have parties every night in the.
They do well on the weekends.
lot.
Yeah, you get the kids, the local kids, because you have to go to middle of nowhere Walmarts because those are the only ones that still allow overnight parking. And that's the hangout for people there.
Is it so much they allow it or they don't care about stopping?
No, they specifically allow it.
Okay.
Because they make a point of supporting the RV community.
Yeah, I bet people just destroy those bathrooms, turn them into showers.
Yeah, they get in the urinal and flush the wash.
Yeah, I bet people are fucking washing their ass in the sink in there.
Well, the problem is some places it got abused. People were living there for weeks in their rundown cars and vans and stuff. So it's not like the RV people just spending the night. It's when people would spend 2 weeks there.
People, you try to have nice things like a Walmart parking lot.
Yep.
And people ruin it. People always ruin nice things. Like you have a nice fancy Walmart parking lot.
It was great because that was when we were in the heat of the classified fever where we felt we had to check every day at Targets and Walmarts. So I got to check different zip codes Walmarts and had much better luck than I did.
True. It is fun to still go through action figure aisles at different stores.
And you go, oh, look, the Eternals are still here.
Yeah. Like, oh, Jurassic World. Apparently that's still out.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else Xtreme on your
JP, are you gonna go for the his tank?
I already did.
Oh, you did? Good.
I did immediately.
I'm on the add-ons are looking so good.
I'm the reason why you're considering it. Because of me, you get the cool shit unlocked that you're now hemming and or hawing about. I
want the Lady Hiss gunner.
Is it expensive? Sure. So $300, and we're talking about equivalent to classified
like
20 a piece. No, but classified figures are 20 a piece.
I think they've gone up, haven't they? A
What's the
lot of
standard?
the legends have already.
Let's just say 25. Let's just say 25. So 12 classified figures. Think about it like that.
And you're getting 2 classified figures with it.
And you're already getting 2, and a giant fucking tank that
And
lights
some
up.
sweet rocket launchers.
So I went ahead, I did it, but before I did it, I saw that shipping's $22.
That's not that bad.
So I signed up to Pulse to get free shipping. Then I went in and canceled all my pre-orders through Hasbro and re-pre-ordered them to get the free shipping.
Nice.
So Pulse is already paid for, close to paid for. I
How
had
much is Pulse a year?
50 a year. So I had one Joe pre-order that was $12 shipping, and I had one Star Wars pre-order that was also
What was the Star Wars one?
it was like Palpatine, Tarkin, bunch of old school ones. They never,
Oh, okay, cool.
but the old ones that came out, I didn't like the way they looked.
Mm.
So Tarkin, Palpatine, and then there's one newer one. I forgot. But yeah, so that was like 9. So you add it all together, and there's almost $50 of shipping out there. So cancel them all, rebuy, and then get the Pulse. So now I have Pulse.
I signed up for Marvel Unlimited for $100 to get the Shadowcat figure. So,
Wow. How did it look?
it was okay. It was good for a legend.
Yeah.
It had a good Lockheed is the main reason I wanted it.
Yeah. Was it? How was the butt?
It's not. I'm butt spoiled now ever since I got the Hot Toys Black Widow with the squishy butt.
Yeah.
But I think it's a guy now anyway.
Yeah.
Elliot Page is now Shadowcat.
I saw a thing earlier today. Quick side note, and it was referencing an old Royal Rumble that it had all 3 Mick Foleys in it, like Dude Love. And I remember watching it, Dude Love, Mankind, and Cactus Jack, and it said Mick Foley entered 3 times, and we called him by his name, whatever name he was in there, all 3 times. You can call Elliot Page, Elliot fucking Page. What do you think about that tweet, Biran, that I just vocalized it?
I don't have a problem calling her Elliot Page if I was. I don't like what she did with her hair. His hair, sorry, with his hair. Because I saw the poster for Umbrella Academy. I go, just because you're a guy doesn't mean you stop taking care of your hair.
Did the hair change?
And bowl-like.
Did the hair change before or after the transformation?
Well, she always had the short hair usually, and I thought she looked super cute with the short hair anyway.
I thought she was great. Juno and whatever X-Men she was in.
Yes.
Shadowcat.
Oh yeah, she was like top 10. She was super cute.
Yeah.
There was the one. I think she could have kept the same hairstyle that she was rocking, and still pass.
You know, I believe the correct answer is it's not up to you to decide.
Right. But isn't like you could critique people's hair. I'm not critiquing her gender choices. I'm critiquing.
I don't think you can anymore.
No.
You actually can't critique anything anymore.
Well, for instance, Jeffro's son.
Yeah.
He's a guy, and he has fantastic hair.
Yeah, but he's underage, and
Oh.
so now it's creepy on a different level.
Okay.
And don't even try it with his daughter either. I'm just saying, it's not even a male-female thing.
Jeffro's wife has good hair.
Yeah.
Jeffro's hair short, so you can't tell if it's good or not.
Yeah.
Todd has good hair.
Yeah.
Who does?
Todd and Katie have the same hair.
Why did you name Todd after the Gallenbeck family? Is he connected?
Yeah, another
There was
person
talking about good hair. And Todd's not a minor.
No, he's not a minor. He's actually really old.
He's younger than me.
Yeah, but he
Yep.
looks old.
Oh yeah, but
Like you're pulling off 49. You're hanging in there. Todd looks like he's 58 and a half.
Todd looks like
Todd looks like he's Howie's age.
Howie
Todd's
looks
a very
younger than
handsome
Todd.
woman.
Yes,
Howie looks like a kid.
I know.
Fat don't crack.
I think it's actually like the orc genes, though. I think it's because he is part orc. He was born of a spore.
Orky Todd. Well, you look at his
Orky
older
Todd.
pictures, he kind of had that bowl cut.
Yeah.
You know what's
Like
weird?
The
Quick
no
side note on
sideburns bowl
Todd.
cut.
I'd like to see, maybe Todd's watching, he probably isn't, but as someone who took pride in being an orc player and naming his online Orky Todd, he's not like a jovial orc player ever, though. He's the
like a mean
AJ
orc,
Styles
well, he's a Lord of the Rings orc then. He's more of an ORC.
Oh, you know what? Fair, but I believe he doesn't spell it that way though.
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
No, he used the K.
So, I'm just saying. I'd expect someone named Orky Todd to be someone you want to have a fun
Fun-loving.
game.
Fun
Fun
love.
loving.
Yeah.
Jovial.
Gets his ass beat, but the orcs killed themselves
Right.
and he had a good
Yeah,
time. And
he
it
gets
blew
his
up.
ass beat, but the shock attack gun worked one time.
Yes.
So we're gonna brag about the one time. That's who I want as my Orky Todd.
Your sixes to hit Overwatch actually worked and stopped the charge.
Anyway, follow Zlurpcast all over social media. We have sometimes throw up an archive episode. People are like, give me the old stuff. Like, I don't have the old stuff. I mean, it's not like the old stuff is in here.
You gotta unearth
You
it.
Look it up. You can't fit all the old stuff in here.
You still have the sticker that tells you where to plug stuff on that?
No, I got it stats though.
Oh,
By the way, this computer had a ton of fucking ports on it. They don't do that anymore, do they?
everything's
And then there's
USB.
USBs on the front, the side, every which way. Pretty wild.
My
Anyway,
laptop only has USB-C ports on it. That's it. For everything. Charging, display, everything.
everyone. Yeah. Here's my roadblock I just got, by the way.
Avert your eyes, Brian. I know you don't like it.
Well, hold on. Let's see if I can get Biran. Force Ghost Biran on roadblock. Look
Oh,
at that shit. Hold on. I have shaky hands. Hold on. There he is.
I
Screen
cook
cap it.
at my parents' restaurant.
It looks like Slimer.
Did
It
it
looks
rhyme?
like fucking Slimer, Biran.
It looks like shitty early hologram stuff.
Anyway, that's it. Xtreme, thanks for sharing your story.
I enjoyed it. I was illuminated.
I'm hoping we get a game covered soon. You guys still play games, right? Your group?
Oh yes, we're gonna start Star Breach soon,
Reasonably soon.
and by the end of summer.
I'd
Yeah.
like to hear about that. I don't think we covered it before, didn't we?
I
Yeah.
found my book. I don't know if I gotta look for my dice.
Star Breach is the one with they port over all the 40K armies.
For the most part, yeah.
For the
And
most
some Star Wars stuff.
And like you Jedi.
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
A little bit of everything, huh?
Yeah.
Is that when they say miniature agnostic, but when you do it with the intention of bringing over some, is it still called miniature agnostic?
Well, I could see
That's
maybe.
Wisconsin thumb ring debate. So
Yeah.
Oh, is it
He
talking
talks about
like-
that a lot.
he talks about it all the time.
Okay, because it's like Stargrave is miniature agnostic.
In theory, but they make their own miniatures for it.
Yeah, but that's true. And
Yeah.
more people probably use Stargrave models than Frostgrave models.
Maybe just because those kind of sci-fi models aren't as common as generic fantasy.
Are there Rangers of Shadow Deep models?
I think there are actually.
Okay. You know what I thought would be a great use of those? The Ice and Fire models would be perfect for
Yeah. Oh,
like
totally.
if you did a Game of Thrones themed skirmish game using Rangers of Shadow Deep models.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd like to hear about Star Breach though. Is that a real rule book? Is that an online?
It's real.
You can get it free online, but it's you can get it formatted better in a rule book.
Like you buy it from a store?
No.
Oh.
I think it's
Probably
online
not.
only, isn't it?
I don't know. I think rule books are different. You go to those game stores and they're not going to have any models for other games, but there'll always be a section of old rule books. And you never know what you find in the old rule book section. So I bet you might see one in there.
Games Plus might have one. You just got to find it.
That's the problem. It's underneath.
Yeah.
Look at the guy with the
It's
cart
underneath.
and the laptop. Follow him around. Ask him.
You got to find, there's a bin on the floor with whatever the first group of models that came out for Flames of War, blow the dust off those, where it's like half metal, half plastic, half resin, whatever. And then behind the dust, it's like a mist.
There's a
Man.
25-year-old issue of White Dwarf.
There's
under
back
that.
when White Dwarf covered other games and had ads in it, a
Yeah.
real magazine, and then blow the dust off that, and then there's a Star Breach rule book there, which was like, how the fuck did it get back there? It's not that old. That's where he stored it at. He was, you know what it was? The guy with the carts was doing
Mhm.
inventory. There was no SKU for that one, so he said, let's hide it. We've all been there.
Yeah.
When you're doing inventory and retail, I don't know how to count this, So let's not count it.
Like when I worked at Dominic's and it was closing time, they go, you got to put away all that overstock in the cart, stuff people didn't want when they checked out. And that's when you just go to the furthest part where the manager can't see and just dump everything there and say, I'm done. Sure, some of it was raw meat and it went rotten and stank, but I was done.
That's why Dominic's isn't around anymore.
Yep.
Congrats.
Every company I've worked for has ultimately failed. So
your current one probably won't.
Probably not.
A little something called the military industrial complex. You're going to be
That's right.
safe.
Oh, we pulled out of Afghanistan, but got right into Ukraine.
We'll always have something.
Yep.
So anyway, talk to you next time on Zlurpcast TV. Bye.
Zlurpcast! Brought to you by McMurdy's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loathing it.